While there may be more going on here than we realize in FNAF Security Breach, there is certainly even more than that. With various unexplained mechanics and moments, there are plenty of theories going around the internet and my head for the latest Five Nights at Freddy's installment. So, for the sake of my sanity, we're going over some of the smaller ones that may or may not be true today. Let's do it. And at 10, Client 46. The mystery of FNAF Security Breach's Client 46 is one that still plagues us even after the game has been torn to shreds. There's no mention of a name or any other names associated with Client 46, and whoever it is doesn't even speak. The client does appear to be younger given the tonal shift between the therapists when they're talking to Vanessa then talking to 46, which could be the reason that the tapes with Vanessa were included, to show that each therapist approaches 46 with a softer, kinder touch. But we know that Client 46 is most likely also a male, given that Therapist 4 asks 46 what they like to do, and the first thing they talk about is sports. When being asked about encrypted communications which seem manipulative in nature, the therapist also says, quote, "Well, the texts say it looked to them like it was an attempt to manipulate you or maybe to lure you somewhere. This is the same language used when educating kids about online safety and predators." So, is this Gregory? Personally, to me, it seems like it, but if you want more of a breakdown on this, check out the Is Gregory Client 46 theory in the iCard. And at 9, Security, level 9. Now, the highest security level that you can actually get access to is level 8. This just requires you to do every one of the security room minigames. However, with level 8 being the highest one that you can actually achieve, it begs the question, why are there doors with security level 10? And while that's a question for another day, my question this time around is also, why are there no security level 9 doors? Throughout the entire Pizzaplex, there are a selection of doors that we are unable to access, either because they're out of service or because they require level 10 security clearance. However, there are no doors that require level 9 security. Why is this? The simple answer is because 10 is more secure, both in an in-universe perspective as well as a gameplay standpoint. Because maybe you can somehow accidentally glitch your way to level 9 clearance. But the theory could also be that it's because in reality there is something incredibly sinister going on behind those level 10 doors. Especially if it's bad enough to hide behind 2 door levels up from your highest clearance and not just 1. And at 8, Inspiration. Now, while the Pizzaplex itself may not be real, are there actually elements of this that could be? Well, actually, yes. It's been confirmed that most of the locations and structures in the Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex were actually based on places that the developers spent their childhood in. Which would mean each of these locations draws inspiration from a real place, but it's still unrealistic that a franchise like Fazbear's, having been made famous for having kids constantly go missing, would be able to end up building a whole mall complex. But also this makes me wonder, is this the plan in real life? I mean, we don't know what this game's year is supposed to be. Like, I originally assumed it was 2022 because of the FNAF AR emails, but this could also be as late as like 2037 or something, thanks to FNAF 6 and the like. But could the person taking over after Scott actually be planning a real location? Probably not. I don't think that Scott would appreciate that or let it happen, but maybe Chuck E. Cheese needs some healthy competition and not seemingly a monopoly on the whole animatronic pizzeria biz. And at 7, Dave. Back in the glory days, before we knew who William Afton was, we had many names for the one known as the Purple Guy. None of them were canon, but some people believed that they were. And while they were all confirmed as fake once the official name of William Afton was revealed in the Silver Eyes as well as sister location, maybe one or more of them is actually real. Yeah, I remember calling the Purple Guy Dave before the Silver Eyes came out, but once the Silver Eyes canonized Dave Miller as a fake name, we've kept our eyes out for anyone using a similar alias. Well, lo and behold, it took a couple years, but in Security Breach you were able to find duffel bags that contain messages that hold some form of lore, like the one about the night terrors that I mentioned in another list. Even before that one, in the customer service area where you upgrade your complimentary ticket, you can find a bag that says customer complaint, you should fire Dave, he sucks. It's simply called Hi Dave, but suggests that William maybe still has an influence over this place. You know, I wouldn't put it past him. And at 6, save spots. The idea that there are various save spots around the map that allow you to save your progress is a good idea. However, this has a whole new implication for like the real life reasons these spots are around the Pizzaplex. Now, if you saved in a simple menu screen, it would be one thing, okay? The whole saving thing would just become a game feature and not canon. However, the inclusion of these save stations means that the saving is canon in the real world of the game. But how? Well, above each save point is a sign that says save your spot, which while yes refers to your spot in the game, it can also refer to something else in the Pizzaplex, and it really has to. They're probably just for making sure that you don't miss out on the various attractions. However, the real confusing part is that those are on all night, but then as soon as the Pizzaplex opens at 6 AM, they all of a sudden stop working. Why? Why are they suddenly just not working when they'd actually be needed? It makes no sense to me. Like, why keep them on all night when nobody's supposed to be in the Pizzaplex? There's something sus going on here, and it's not not just Gregory venting. Halfway through into number 5, the Blob. The Blob is the amalgam giant pile of black goo that is only seen in the canon ending to Security Breach. The Blob is a massive sized proportion of wire, tentacle, and animatronic parts with possession of many glowing red eyes, because of course it does. The Blob's main head has a mask identical to that of Funtime Freddy, but with black eyes and pinkish red glowing pupils, and then its endo face reveals to actually have metal plates rather than wire tubes. Their body is a large black mass made of wire tentacles like things. It looks like goo, but it's also not goo. It appears to be some larger version of Molten Freddy after Pizzeria Simulator's fire, but it's far more grotesque and mixed with parts of other animatronics and endoskeletons, even some that seemingly weren't at the pizzeria. You can see parts of older animatronics like Circus Baby and the Puppet, which were in FNAF 6's location, but also Chica, Mangle, Bonnie, and several Endo 2s, and likely others that we can't actually see. However, one detail pointed out to me, at least by Matt Patton in his latest theory, was that Baby's eyes aren't glowing red, suggesting that perhaps Baby's soul isn't in this giant amalgamation, and instead it's being controlled by Funtime Freddy, similar to how the book's tentacle monster was Baby, but this time it would be Freddy in the game world. And at 4, Arcade Conspiracy. The Arcade Conspiracy gets its name from one of the duffel bags that you can find where we learn something else has been going on here, and I'm gonna keep making that joke until I can't anymore. Quote from this Arcade Conspiracy note: "They are working together, the arcades. They are hiding something. The glitches. Glitch them all at the same time. Then the princess will recognize me. She's testing me. I am not yet worthy. The others are protecting it. Let me stay. I'm so close. Just one more night. Please, I can save the princess." Now it's clear that it seems to be referring to the Princess Quest games, however it doesn't really seem like we have to glitch the Princess Quest games in order to win. We just have to beat them in order from 1 to 3 and then boom, we save Vanny, so what could this mean? Well, there are 3 other arcade machines that seem to be having mysterious glitches as well. The Balloon Boy World game that you can find in the theater, Chica's Feeding Frenzy, which won't turn off even when unplugged, that you can find in the bakery, and Monty Golf A-Arcade that according to its duffel bag shouldn't be in the mini golf area, but is. However, while you can play both Balloon Boy World and the Monty Golf game, Chica's Feeding Frenzy isn't an arcade cabinet. You can only access it by using a mod that lets you cheat it from the main menu, so I feel like it was an intentional feature that was left on the cutting room floor. Getting close to the end, and at number 3, Glam Rock Freddy is Henry. Now the idea that Freddy is possessed is a theory that's been floating around for a while, and some assume that the one possessing him is Michael, which does make sense. However, there are also hints that this isn't the case at all, and that it's instead Henry possessing Freddy. Do I think that this is the case? No, but it's still fun to talk about. Starting off with the fire he sets on the rooftop ending if you leave through the prize counter. This ending has Freddy set the prize counter on fire as you two escape to the roof. Now, we know that out of the 3 fires in this series, Henry was the one who set the first 2. He was the one who set the FNAF 6 pizzeria on fire, and the FNAF 3 fire was also most likely set by Henry. Since in Ultimate Custom Night, Orville Elephant claims, quote, "He tried to release you, he tried to release us," in which us is most likely a reference to the FNAF 3 fire, since this is the one where he tried to release the one you should not have killed, and the one you should not have killed is talking through Orville. So Freddy's first idea to set fire to this place may not be a coincidence. He also seems extremely eager to do so. There's also the idea that Henry was in the FNAF 6 pizzeria when it burned down, since he said that he was nearby. I don't know, it could be possible, and if it was, what a twist. But ultimately, and at number 2, Gregory is 40. To be totally honest, the knowledge that this kid has, okay, exceeds even some of my own. This kid is the size of a 4-year-old. He can fit inside Freddy, he can fit inside baby strollers, and various other small areas around the Pizzaplex. He's too small to drive one of the go-karts alone, but he knows how to restart generators, operate a trash compactor, start and drive a van, as well as identify a car battery, connect the jumper cables on a car battery properly, and then use those to fix Freddy's whole recharge every hour issue. I don't even know how to do that properly. I don't know. Like, how the living hell does that make any sense? If he can't drive the go-kart, how can he drive a van? And how do they solve the whole power issue in the true ending? Because Freddy's still going to need to recharge every hour, and they don't have a van this time. So how do Freddy and Gregory make it to the hill without Freddy needing to recharge? Like, how do they solve that issue? This kid knows more words than I do, yet somehow is still the size of a 4-year-old. 8-year-old? No, it makes absolutely no sense, and this kid's weird superpower is the thing that makes this game so confusing. It only really makes sense if he's a robot that was supposed to mimic a toddler who's been on for decades and has been learning this whole time. And finally, in at number 1, the Aftons. In the best ending, the Princess Quest ending, there are quite a few confusing moments. The most confusing one for me is the idea that Gregory would go get ice cream with Vanessa when she's done trying to kill him. Like, why would you do that? Some people seem to think that it's because they're related or representing the dead Afton kids. And thanks to MatPat, there is actually a little more evidence to this. The ice cream that Vanessa gets while on the hill is very reminiscent of the ice cream cone that lured Elizabeth into Baby's arms. The cone with the tall soft serve on top looks like the cone with the tall soft serve on top that Baby presented to Elizabeth in order to lure her closer and then subsequently kill her. Is that evidence or just a coincidence? You see, I wasn't really sure, but thanks to MatPat, he pointed out that Gregory also has a popsicle. A Freddy popsicle to be exact. You know, like those SpongeBob ones that never look right, but it's Freddy Fazbear, not SpongeBob. And the lighting makes it look very yellow in color, as if it was a reference to a certain yellow bear that could have had something to do with the crying child's death. If this was truly meant to be Crying Child, this could be a good way of indicating it. But not only is it this good, it gets better. Crying Child, or I guess Gregory, has taken a bite out of the head of the popsicle. Could also be a reference to how he met his unfortunate fate. And that, combined with the other ice cream, I feel like that's pretty good. That's all the time we have for today, friends. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been in Shower Main Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video.